Mine has been pressed.
I'm
Full court pressed.
I'm depressed.
Your mom's a mess.
I have to confess.
My sister's nickname is Ness.
I'm under duress.
You look around and you see a lot of peasants.
What?
Peasants, but peasants.
I think just normal peasants would have been better than peasants.
Here we go. Episode 2, the Sonder Sides podcast. Pierce speaking.
And Trevor Call.
We are here.
And you know what? You know who else is here?
Who?
We have a special guest with us today.
Who's that?
I don't know, whoever's listening.
Oh, welcome.
You.
It's good to have you here.
Y-O-U. You. We're happy you're here. Last podcast, kind of the intro, the foundation that we laid for this podcast. And let me tell you, it was hard. We recorded it 3 times, messed up plenty.
Too many
times. Something that we did talk about though in that intro was basically like our mission statement. Like we're trying to disconnect people or help people disconnect from this virtual world and reconnect them with this real world, this real life that we live. And basically there are just so many distractions that we have in our life, and especially in 2021.
Agreed.
Soon to be 2022.
Agree. Whether it's like all the Netflix shows and movies coming out, or whether it's the social media or sports. I love football, so sports gets very distracting sometimes with the NFL season or college or whatever it is. Just like a lot of noises. We love music too. Music has been a huge inspiration and a huge like new world that we've dived really deep into this summer too. And we love movies. I mean, we love everything, we love being a part of in the whole virtual world too,
Let me tell you, Pierce, man, has grown a lot this year. Do you remember way back in the day when you had your headphones on all the time?
Yeah.
He bought these noise canceling headphones and he loved them. They're Bose,
I still
Sony?
love them. They're Sony, yeah.
Okay.
Shout out to Sony, right?
Yeah, please sponsor us. Pierce would literally, like anytime, even if we were with some friends sometimes, he would be like, okay, peace out, boop, disconnect from like the conversation and like put music on because he was like just in his own world.
Yeah, so like
he was enjoying it. You were enjoying yourself though.
Absolutely. But
again, we know you were.
Again, it's like I was taken out of like reality, out of like hanging out with people, having conversations because I wanted to be in my own little world. And so, yes, I loved it and it was great.
Here's a question for you.
Yeah.
I don't know if there was a distinct like turn when you like stopped doing that so much. So I guess like what was that switch, I guess?
I feel like the switch was I was so enthralled by music and I loved it and it never disappointed me, as do some conversations or some people being around them.
Okay.
And again, that was not a specific jab at anyone. It's just I get tired of people sometimes. But it was just kind of selfish. Like Trevor said, there were definitely some instances where I should not have just like kind of done my own thing and put some headphones on and ignored people. I don't know when, because this is a more recent thing, and maybe I'm only thinking about it because it's a more recent thing, but just conversations with people and communicating has been a lot more on my mind recently. I think it's also the books I'm reading help with that. So
Strangers, what is it?
Yeah, talking with strangers and in Atomic Habits, there's just lots of like examples of people and psychology and the way we interact with each other. And I do remember going through school, there's a lot of classes. I love the human body. Like I do like learning about it. I like working on it and it's cool. In psychology, the brain is like a whole nother world that's really cool. Mm-hmm. So sorry, long spiel, but yeah, I think that just a deeper desire for those communications and like learning more about psychology has been helpful. So I don't know if there was like a specific moment. I just think that I've just been more interested in that than
just like people, like
basically just humans, just understanding humans better. And I think that the more you can understand other people too, like when you have conversations, the more you learn about yourself.
I agree with that because Sonder, the whole idea of Sonder, that everybody has this story and everybody's this main character. It's interesting because once you like ask people questions, you know what I mean? Like you start to get away from the small talk and get into real personal questions. Like you and I have had very personal questions.
Right.
or discussions like
Right.
recently. Like we'll sit down on our porch like 10, 11 at night, and it's freezing outside, but we're just having
Bundled up in blankets.
right, but we're just having good conversations and just talking about life, and like our conversations just go and go and go. And it's hard to find people that you like can have those conversations with because I don't know, I guess it's not a prerequisite. It's not a prerequisite. Oh, gee, mini Christmas. Wow, I did drop out of college.
Prerequisite.
Yes, thank you. To be friends for 10 years to like have those conversations.
Yeah.
I think it's just the society mentality of, oh, how was your day today? Oh, it was good. How was yours? Good. Like these just conversations that just don't have any depth to them.
Right.
Just really like ruin real friendships or like real. I think that's what really takes an acquaintance to like a friend. When you start to have these like better conversations and these more meaningful conversations about like what are you doing with your life, like what are your goals, what are you struggling with, like just like more real questions.
Yeah, like what's on your mind? Are you thinking about God? Like I like talking about stuff like that. I like talking about the more deep personal things because that's where true connection comes through, is that type of talk.
The real talk.
The real talk.
So I asked you about your switch, like your mentality switch.
Yeah.
And it's funny because I gave you a lot of crap for your headphone thing, but it really lit this flame in me for music because I've always been like the lame dude that like listened to the radio like growing up. And so I don't know a lot of artists. I don't know a lot of song titles, albums, like all these things. But it hasn't been till this year that I've been exploring that. And so I was in this exploratory phase also. But when we went on this Idaho trip to Lake Palisades, we were sitting there and Pierce was like, dude, we should pause the music and just sit there because there was the noise of the lake, the birds, the trees, just so much nature around us. And we like sat there for like 10 minutes at least.
Yeah. I mean, there was multiple times that trip too. I mean, there was another time when it was started to rain and it was just Trevor and I, because the rest of our group was kind of doing their own thing, just hanging out, cracking jokes. I had a little poncho on and we were just talking in the rain, and it was great. Even just like being, and it wasn't raining hard. It was very light, so it was nice,
Right.
But it was just fun, just listening and talking about either nature around us or just life in general.
Yeah, we had that conversation, and on the hike out, we were getting rained on the whole way down. Like literally, I flew my drone, I got one last shot, packed it up, and then it was constantly raining the whole hike out.
Yeah.
And I was like, I had my rain gear on, and so I was like, dude, I should just put my headphones in and just cruise. But then I decided not to, and I just listened to the rain. It was so peaceful. The whole we were slow, but it 3 hours. Goodness gracious, 3 hour hike.
Don't even remember, honestly.
And it was just really peaceful. I feel like you have special moments with Momma Nature that really make you want to go back again.
I agree. And I think that there's also a lot of things that you just can't really feel, emotionally or spiritually, whatever you want to call it, unless you're out there and you are just in this whole state of just awe, honestly. I feel like when you have a lot of respect for Momma Nature, whether it's raining, respecting that it might be a little more slippery or muddy, or whether it's respecting by picking up your litter or your trash, or whether it's sometimes I like to not take pictures and videos just because it's fun to just sit there and enjoy it, until the moment's oh my gosh, this is too pretty. I have to take at least a picture or something,
I agree, but I'm also the videographer
Right.
and the photographer. I'm like, dude, I can't not do this,
Yeah.
It's content. And that's a struggle that it's been for the Sonder sites of, I've realized, so when we went to Guatemala, like we talked about, I recorded every single minute. And that was just the main focus of, we're doing this for the video. I didn't even use most of the footage. And so I mainly just realized there's got to be a balance of enjoying yourself, pausing everything else that you're doing, take in the nature that you're
just
around.
Being present.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Just being present. But for me, it's my way of journaling. I
sure.
like to do video for that reason. The person that I was during Guatemala compared to Hawaii or any of our trips this summer, I've just been very mindful of okay, this is a good time to be present, and this is a good time to I guess this just you could call it a distraction, I guess, but like
Work.
don't do that because it's my personality, and don't hinder my personality at all.
We're not trying to hinder nothing.
Well, I see some shots coming out. Just kidding. So basically, like moderation of everything is like the general rule that I've gone to. Like, yes, it's good to listen to music. I love music on road trips. I love it anytime. But and like obviously we have to be on our phones for work and whatever. But there's definitely times to disconnect yourself and really just focus on the real world.
And right, and I agree, and I think that I don't know about recently. I don't know how long, but recently I've found my hatred for social media. I've realized how much I really dislike it again. Maybe
he literally had to force himself to download it.
Yeah, and like again, and like what Trevor said though is very true. I think there is good in moderation. It is good to be able to catch up with people still. It is good to show your face, show that you're living. And not just completely try to isolate yourself from social norms or whatever it is. I think it is just frustrating and hard knowing that there is such a beautiful, just real world out there, like nature, wilderness, outdoors, whatever you want to call it, that people don't get out enough to or see or get into. And it's frustrating to see that like the way I act on certain social media platforms is how I act in real life too. And I don't think that's true. And I think that that's just something that social media is just good at doing is like it makes, at least for me, again, this is just how I feel. It makes you feel like if I'm having a moment where I just am like, I need to cut a bunch of people off. I need to stop distracting myself with all these posts, or I don't see this person post that often, or I don't really even know, like we never talk to each other. We're kind of more just acquaintances, whatever. And I've done this a lot in my life of just kind of cutting people and things out.
Luckily, not me.
Not yet. And and it has just people act really funny about that. And again, there's a balance on my side too. Like I'm not saying I'm right here. Like I did everything right. I'm very wrong in a lot of things I've done. But it is just strange how we connect a lot of our real relationships and our real life and our just us with our social medias.
Well, okay, so I'll give an example to what like you're saying.
Please.
To kind of back you up.
Please.
Yeah, you're welcome. I'm saving your life right now.
Well, thank you.
Just kidding.
It's done it many times.
For example, I have some friends on social media or on Snapchat that's like they would send me this Snapchat that just said streaks and it was like a black screen. I'm like, dude, if we're gonna have a streak, like that's cool, but it's gonna be because it's natural and also I don't care about it. Like when someone was like, oh, we gotta get our streak in today, we're at 40, like we gotta keep going, and I was like, I'm not gonna respond to you. And I'm going to end the streak because this is ridiculous. And then the streak would end. And then they would be like butthurt, almost feel like I personally attacked them and I don't like them as a friend. And I had to be very real with them. I'm like, dude, you think because we don't have a streak on Snapchat, you think we're not good friends. That is the world that we're in right now. Like, if you don't follow me, if you don't comment on my post, if you don't like it, if you don't share it, like, it's just a very interesting world. And so like for you, I know that you've unfollowed people on Snapchat because it was just very all up in your face and you didn't like that, and so you wanted to be and then you just ended up deleting it, so it's like whatever.
Yeah So there's ways around.
Remove distractions whatever way you got to do it. To go along with that, it's like you do have to do stuff for you. To tie this back into the first part of this, you have to take time for this very real energy that you feel in the outdoors. And so like I notice it when I'm inside all day because I edit and I am always at the computer. I'm just inside. And some days I don't even go outside and it's bad because I'm just doing work all day. And it gets dark at 5, by the way. Sucks right now.
Yeah.
But so I have to like force myself to get out because I have to feel that release, or like disconnecting myself from my work, from Instagram because I'm on there for work and I have to get out to real life, because literally you turn off that phone and it's like you just shut off a whole world.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh no, sometimes.
It's true.
So in true David Goggins fashion, we would like to invite you guys to join us in just getting up, getting out, and taking time to listen to Mama Nature around you. Whether that's just canceling or stopping or pausing your TV show that you watch every night, Or if you work at home, like Trevor said, going and taking a walk, whatever it is, just getting on your porch, just sitting there. Don't listen to any music. Don't watch anything. Don't get on your social media. Just try to sit there for like 5 minutes. Go watch the sunset. Go on a little hike. Whatever it is, the weather's getting colder and colder. So don't use the cold now as an excuse because it's only going to get colder.
Yes. To add to that challenge, if I can find words. Yeah, I think we have a lot of distractions in general as human beings, especially with technology. And for each person, they have a different distraction.
Exactly.
Whatever that is, that we could go on and on for examples. So I think it's important for like you to find what is distracting you from real life, because if you got stripped away from like everything, like your technology, your apartment, your living situation, like whatever, and you're just kind of like thrown on the street, like that's real life. Being in the wild, being a human being. And this society that has been created in 2020 is very 2021. Gee, Christmas. Time really goes fast.
It does, man.
Let me tell you what. So whatever, just find your distractions and limit them. Obviously, like, I'm not saying don't listen to music and just be outside all the time. Like that's not sustainable. So find what's sustainable for you. Challenge yourself to improve yourself and connect yourself with real life.
Right. No specific invitation, just mainly the general get out, enjoy Momma for who she is.
Amen. And with that, we'll see you on the next one.
Adios, amigos.